big difference. Okay, so the next step is going to be helping your student, or in this case, your child, with sight words. Now, sight words are words that they really can't sound out. And once they get to this certain level where they realize that they're amazing at sounding out cat and mat and bat and all these things, and they can decode all these letters and making new words, they eventually get to a situation where they cannot sound these letters out. And they could get frustrated if they don't understand the importance of sight words. Sight words are words like do and girl, look, things of these natures. We also have was, for, now, said. Some of these things that are, they are in these lower level books for younger readers, but they can't sound them out. And so by being able to teach them these sight words, it really is going to make their love of reading grow, because they can read fluently. They can read without having to stop as much because they know these words already. Now, this is something that you can do beforehand. I mean, this is something that you can kind of jump back and forth before you teach them phonics, or introduce that to them, let them know that there's some words that can't be sounded out, and that these are some of these words. That's going to help them as they go through and start reading different books that are a little higher levels, that there's possible that they couldn't do that. So this is one of the reasons why we say that you can kind of critique it and prescribe what's best for your child as they go through their learning process. And so being able to help your child with these sight words is really going to be a big difference. Now, the way we do sight words a lot of times can be very difficult for visual learners, because most of the time it's just word lists. You have word lists like this that they go through, and it really is helpful for them to memorize them, but sometimes the kids need a little bit more. And so that's why we always say that if your child is better kinetically, they like to move and feel, they're a textual learner, if they're auditory learners, then there's more ways than just reading lists. One of the things that we use a lot in our district is a gentleman by the name of Jack Hartman. He does all types of YouTube videos and videos that help with sight words and phonics and everything. And they're colorful, and they're dancing and they're singing. And this is a great way to help your child with sight words, or really in any part of this process. It really does make a big difference. Of course, you can do this traditional, I should say, word list. That's kind of fun too, because they kind of see it as like a competition. A lot of times it's list 1, list 2, list 3. Like, oh, how many lists can you do? Like, oh, I can do all 6 lists, or I can do this many lists. And so that can be fun as well. But introducing your child and helping your child with the sight words is really going to allow them to get to the next level, because they can sound out words, but then they also realize that they've already memorized some of these words they cannot sound out. And it makes for better fluency, better transition through words, and it's going to make their overall experience with reading that much more fun. Okay, another great strategy to do, and this kind of encompasses all of the strategies together, is to really make a lot of these activities as multi-sensory as possible. One of the things that we've learned over the years, that just showing the child only helps with one part of learning. Just listening is one part. As you can see, we try to do our best to show and to have them listen to different activities, but there's so many other multi-sensory activities that you can do. And when you can create multi-sensories, all of this, the sensory learning, it really does make a big difference. And of course, studies have proven time and time again that some people are better learners visually or auditorily. Some kids need to move in order to do that. Some kids need to feel it. And so there are all kinds of different multisensory techniques that you can do, whether it be with the alphabet, whether it be with phonics, whether it be with the sight words, whether it be interactively teaching different lessons when it comes to reading. One of the great things that we have come up with over the years is that some kids just do better in the beginning listening to the books. And that seems odd, but when kids are auditory learners, when they hear it, something about the language and the words and just the overall encompassing actions of reading is better for them to listen. And so if your child is struggling with something, if they're struggling with the flashcards, or they're struggling with maybe too much sensory with the videos, having them just listen sometimes is important. Sometimes kids, like I said, need to use the sand or the shaving cream. Some kids even do great with sandpaper letters, being able to feel it. That allows them, for their little brain, to solidify and to kind of download that when you make with the feeling of the grit of the sandpaper on their finger, helps them realize in their little brain that is a B. And sometimes that just needs to happen. Some kids pick it up just like that with the flashcards, with the pictures and all the rest of that stuff. But one of the great tips that I can give you is when you're at home, as I said before, make it fun, but make it multisensory, because some kids just learn better with different avenues of learning. And when you're going through this, you're going to be able to kind of decode yourself and to get a formula for your child, what they do best with. And one of the best ways to do that is just add these other sensory techniques and see which ones work best for them. Because when they are learning at their maximum potential, because you are giving them an opportunity to learn the best they can through the educational techniques, all of the educational techniques, it really is going to make it more fun for them. And as I said before, most kids like what they're good at. And when they realize that they're good at this, that this is fun, mom and dad and their family are cheering them on and high-fiving them and giving them little treats and little goodies, it really does make a big difference. Their self-esteem grows. And then once they get into school, now they're the child who knows what they're talking about. They know how to do this stuff, and they feel and they can help others. And it really does make a big difference. Really does make a big difference. And so by rewarding your child and showing them how important it is, it really does make a big difference. And that's something that I want to break off here just a little bit, is that one of the things that really is crucial is, and I've always said from day one, is the number one predictor of a child's success in school is the priority that the parent puts on education. When they see that this is important to you through modeling, it will be important to them. When they realize that this is something that you're willing to take your time with as a parent or a family member, they realize that this is important and that they are also going to see that as important. And that is just going to set a foundation for the love of learning and success throughout their whole life. That is just a crucial thing that you can be doing. So by doing these techniques, subconsciously, you are showing your child that you believe that education is important, that you believe in them, that you are taking the time to spend your time with them, and that they are important. And that really does, just that particular part of the whole process is worth $1 zillion right there. Because even if they're struggling, if they're having a hard time with their reading, you are showing them that you think that they're important, and you are taking the time to help them. And that is just absolutely crucial. And I think that is, at the very least, going through this process, you're going to be able to accomplish that. And that in itself is amazing.